really hot. 봐봐. K 그거 괜찮아. 봐봐. 초조한 요리를 넌 이거 우리 어디라고 했지?
已经开始了。
啊，应该是。就是如果有个人，你就帮我大概10分钟就行了，可以吧？谢谢。Is that a viewing game?
Well, I just got my old account back, so yeah.
Wait, let me friend you. Go on. Mama!
Will you play too?
I played a bit when the game just came out. Like when it was really
Oh,
popular.
I started on the game on it, but for like a lot.
Yeah, I stopped playing after a bit because the game started dying.
Oh, I stopped playing for like a month. No, for like 2 years. Because I still when I was 8, I stopped when I was like 8.5. I started when I was like 8 and then I stopped really soon after that. And then like after that, and then I just started playing like about a month ago again.
Oh, we need a lot of
Sorry, I don't have an adapter.
Oh, that's fine then. I'll just show it on
What's
the
your-
computer.
Well, we can screencast it still.
Oh, okay. It's just like a short video, so I guess I didn't think.
Oh. Your
Yeah, let's
instinct?
try it.
I know that's my old account.
Wait. Oh, God.
Well,
Oh,
first.
God.
we
Damn.
have to go to.
What's your new account back?
My new account's bad. I need to switch my
Wait. Wait, what?
Try.
Stella? Stella, whatever you call it?
So,
Let's do that. Type in creating time. Sorry? Creating time. Yeah.
I'm gonna check ID. I'm gonna check ID. Or ID check.
I have a legendary.
Cool. A lot of people have legendary.
I never saw
this.
this.
Oh, wait. Ooh, that's not that good.
I know.
It's not that good.
I know, all the Pokemon suck.
Oh, God. This is sad.
This guy's very bad. I want to switch teams.
You can.
I know I can, but I don't have enough Pokeballs. Ugh.
Alright.
I'll have 41.
Hadoop. 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 We told you that.
Does it give you Saeed?
No.
No, you got Kevin.
Alright.
Please edit.
Hello.
Oh, what if I paid to win this?
You don't win. You could get more.
It's pay the team to change. Pay to change the team. Well, what's the blue team again? I forgot. The team Mystic.
Why are you filming us?
Huh?
Like stalking.
Oh, yeah.
You did
You were here
something.
yesterday. It wasn't yesterday.
Hashtag.
I mean,
Wait, we have the
Saturday.
shiny Dragonite?
We're just gonna wait for a bit until we'll
Yeah, shiny Dragonite.
Oh, Kyle's here.
Thank you.
Hi, Jimmy.
Why are you here? Why are you here, Kyle? Why? Why are you here?
What do you mean?
Why are you here?
Excellent.
Okay, so
What
if
is
you
that?
are on Chrome,
Kyle, why are you here?
you should be able to just make questions.
Let's make decisions.
Yes, it's so awesome. Why are you here?
Hashtag I have no more Pokeballs right now. I guess.
Oh wow.
Yeah, why are you
Alright,
here?
thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
And Kyle, why are you
You
here?
might be lagging, you can try it, but that'll
I
cross whatever's on
my
that.
other kind of send me a gift.
Alright.
That's what I have to
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No.
How's it
Thank
going?
you.
What did I miss?
Baba, what did you say?
He missed
1 second.
recording. Oh yeah, I have to go. Come on, I have to finish the song. Started singing Country Roads yesterday.
Okay.
Did you hear them sing
What?
at the end of the year?
Yeah, that was just listening and stuff.
We're gonna get started in 2 minutes.
What did I miss?
Where did you go yesterday? Or did you come at all? I don't
He
know.
didn't
I
come.
didn't
He
come
didn't
on
use
Oh.
Saturday because I went camping.
Yeah.
Cool.
You missed the fact that we're getting recorded now.
But it's not going to anyone outside, just to the people in class, in case you missed it. Hey. Well, did you see the thing that I sent out? The lesson
Yeah.
plan?
No.
Ooh, okay. So yesterday was actually kind of important. I'll do a quick review of it for like 10 minutes in the beginning.
Yeah.
Stuff. So,
Yeah, Facebook.
What, this stuff?
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is
Okay. When
Do
should
you know
we
what
get started?
SpongeBob was?
Yeah.
Hello.
Esau 36.
I'm actually going to be using my computer today. First time.
Apple. No, that's an old one.
Ooh, are we gonna watch Vsauce?
No.
I wanna watch some Minefield.
Man, my kid wasn't that good.
So what? You lost this minefield? What? Confused.
Oh, so it was like the weird YouTube red thing.
I don't watch YouTube, so like, nope. Life depression.
Alright.
Oh,
Alright, let's get started. So, first of all, what's your name? Could you just introduce yourself, like, name, grade?
I'm Kyle. I go to Fletcher. I'm in 7th grade and I'm 12.
Cool. Since I'm bad at names, can you make a name tag for yourself?
Ooh.
Yes.
Here. Here's a marker. Could you give that to me, please? Thank you.
you know who's Susa?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know that real person?
Raz?
What we call him. Oh, no, Raz is great.
Oh, and by the way, I'm Justin. I'm a student at Powell High School. I'm rising junior.
It turned off. The connection was lost.
That's because this thing's closed.
Yeah, that's how I closed it. Okay. So, while he's making the name tag and while we're waiting for other people, I'll just tell us about what we're going to do today. So,
Screensaver.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna just review some of the stuff we did yesterday because the stuff we did yesterday was actually kind of important.
What do we do yesterday?
Consequentialism and deontology. We're here.
Yeah, he was.
No, here.
I thought it
Wasn't
was
this the day
Sunday.
before yesterday?
Or the day before yesterday. My bad. So who remembers what consequentialism is? Anyone?
I also figured
So
out
like,
what that means.
what happens like when you do something?
Yeah, how you're acting up.
Like the
It's like
action.
someone,
Yeah.
it's like someone that like
The good country.
only cares about like
Like Mr. Thompson. There's
the
no
end.
down.
Yeah, the
There's no
consequences.
negative
Right?
acceleration. It's negative acceleration.
So yeah, consequentialism is just an ethical framework that's only concerned with consequences. What about deontology? The slightly less intuitive one. Does anyone remember?
What?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
I know. Okay, so deontology was the other main branch of ethics. It was just it claimed that some things are inherently right and other things are inherently wrong. So, for example, going back to the example of stealing, stealing is always wrong or always right. There's no in between, and it doesn't depend on the consequences. So, those two are actually kind of important. So, if you guys have any questions right now, please ask them because today we're going to be applying them to a real world problem of animal rights. Does anyone have any questions? Or does everyone understand? Including you?
Okay.
You understand?
So I have a question.
Understand what?
I have a
Deontology
question.
and
I have a question.
Consequentialism.
I have a question.
Or actually,
Mhm.
and ecology is what it is essentially.
Okay, so the game ontology is where like nothing is in between, everything is either good or bad.
And there's like a specific set of things that are good and bad. like lying is bad, or stealing is bad, or killing is bad, things like that. Okay, so before we get into like animal rights, which is our main focus today, we're first going to be talking about the third kind of ethical theory. This is the third main type. I said there were two main types, but actually there's three. This third one is a bit confusing, which is why I didn't go over it yesterday. So it's called virtue ethics. Have you guys heard of Aristotle? I am assuming most of you.
Whoa, what's Aristotle? Was he Greek or Roman?
So Aristotle was a Greek philosopher who, among other things, he contributed greatly to the field of virtue ethics. So virtue ethics is essentially, it's a philosophy that says that
Thank
we're talking about
Whoa,
virtue ethics.
so many buttons.
So virtue ethic is like the main type of ethical framework that claims that things that are right are things that people who are virtuous would do. For example, if you do something that an honest man would do, or if you do something that a humble man might do, then that means that the action is correct. And Aristotle claims that the actions you do must reflect your virtues, and that your virtues are cultivated by the actions you perform. So, I know this is a bit confusing, but essentially it says that, Essentially it says that, let's say that you're robbing a bank. Aristotle would say that, well, robbing a bank cultivates the virtue of stealing, which is a bad thing, therefore you shouldn't rob a bank. But what makes virtue ethics a bit different from deontology is that virtue ethics claims that even if you do an action that's right, if the action isn't according to your intentions, then it's a wrong action. So for example, let's say that you're a selfish man, but you decide to donate to charity one day because you think that donating to charity would help your public image. It would make your friends like you more, for example. According to Aristotle or another virtue ethicist, this wouldn't be the right action because despite the fact that you're doing something good, your intentions are wrong and like you're not cultivating virtue.
So meaning every good company donating to charity is bad.
Well, everyone who's donating to charity for a cause other than to like promote good is bad.
But isn't that no charity?
Every company.
The charity donate to you.
Charities are just bad.
So
How many donate charity and charity donates to you?
Yeah, like when big companies donate to like Goodwill, don't they get like tax breaks?
they do. So they have like some external motivation besides doing good.
They're evil.
But then virtue ethics isn't like really that important to understand because it's kind of an archaic moral framework, if you will, because it's been like largely rejected by modern philosophers, which is why we're not going to go in depth on that. So the main two important ones that you guys must know are still deontology and principles. Okay, so yesterday I realized that I forgot to do something that's kind of important. Guys, give me a chance. Which is, let's take a vote on if you agree with consequentialism more, virtue ethics, sorry, not virtue ethics, deontology more, or neither. So who thinks that consequentialism is a better framework
Then both
than
of them.
deontology or some other framework? Okay, what about deontology? And then who has some other framework that you think is better than both? So most of you, sure. Okay, so what kind of framework do you think? What would you have? Like, what would be the basis of another moral framework that's better than both of them, in your opinion? Victor, and then you.
Shoot, I'm not entirely sure how to describe it.
Or who likes to
Belief
try to
in
think?
God, sure.
Okay, yeah.
What about Aristotle virtue ethics?
You think this one makes more sense?
Yeah.
Does the Bible count?
I was just thinking.
Well, the thing with the Bible is that it's actually really interesting because the Bible is kind of like deontology because it tries to say that some things are always right and always wrong. The thing with which one of you mentioned that philosophers are always like against God? I forgot. That was you, right? So an interesting comparison is that deontologists try to say that these things are right and these things are wrong, right? And people who believe in God, or at least most of them, try to find a reason why these things are good and these things are bad. Like they try to say that, well, stealing is bad because God said so. Or like murder is bad because according to the Bible. Or some other religious document.
So the Bible said that stealing was good?
Or that was just an example.
Stealing?
So it's actually pretty interesting that religious followers they follow a similar mindset as deontologists. So Victor, do you have like
I believe.
should I come back to you later? How do you or anything like
Can I change my mind?
what?
Can I change
Sure,
my mind?
sure.
Can I say like I agree with constitution?
Sure, that's fair. Okay. So now that we've done a general review of the 2 or 3 main ethical frameworks, we're gonna go into applied ethics. And today we're gonna talk about animal rights, whether or not animals should have rights. And we're gonna have like essentially a discussion about this. And throughout this discussion, it's important that we try to apply either deontology, consequentialism, or some other moral frameworks that you might come up with. So first of all, we're gonna watch. Have you guys heard of Crash Course?
Oh, yay.
Which one? Like
Oh, we're doing philosophy.
Crash Course Philosophy.
No, I have Crash Course has like something for every subject.
So John Green's gonna. I think it's John Green, or is it his brother? I'm not sure. But anyway, one of them.
Crash Course guy.
Yeah, one of them is going to go into just a brief overview of animal rights. So let's see.
Okay, so I'm gonna say like,
Ooh, okay. We just go through yours.
Rewind.
Oh, there it is. I was thinking we were going. Here, I'm gonna turn it off.
Why no? That can goes to AC.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the AC.
I'm wrong. That's like
Wait, what's so loud?
That's the fan.
Oh.
Keep the AC
Oh well,
on.
look this way. Okay, so John Green tends to talk a bit fast, so if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll pause it, okay?
Talk slower. We have more address.
Remember Cecil the Lion? The lion who were shocked, even outraged when they heard about his death.
Wait, that is too loud. How do I? Let's see. No, that's too loud. Here.
Oh, there's a basketball. That's what I'm 90. It's better like a 50. It's older.
It doesn't work. I got something right now.
That's good.
The hands of American hunter.
Okay. Sorry, let's restart.
Remember Cecil the Lion? The lion who was shocked, even outraged when they heard about his death at the hands of an American hunter in 2015. The response to the lion's death was so strong that the guy who shot Cecil basically went into hiding until he issued an apology. But this is not a little strange. We react with horror when we hear about a majestic lion being shot, or sacks of kittens being tossed into rivers, or owners training their dogs to fight each other for sport. But what is the difference between killing Cecil and killing a deer, or a duck, or a cow, or a chicken? How do we reconcile the strong feelings many of us have about certain animals, mainly the cute ones like kittens and puppies, with the way we actually use animals in our own lives? Most of us think nothing of using non-human animals for their meat, milk, or skins, and not only do we use animals in these ways, but using them as we do almost always harms them. A common method for testing cosmetics, for example, involves restraining rabbits and putting the product into their eyes, leaving it for a set amount of time, and then washing it out and checking for ill effects. Rabbits are used for this because they don't have tear ducts, so they aren't able to flush the product out of their eyes the way our eyes would. It may not surprise you to hear that this can be extremely painful and often blinds the rabbits, which are then euthanized. On factory farms, chickens are housed in tiny cages with each bird occupying a space the size of a piece of standard printer paper. Their beaks are often cut down to keep them from pecking each other, and when they're no longer laying enough eggs, they're killed. These are just a couple examples of the conditions animals experience at our expense, and they're not unusual. We never dream of using another human being in these ways, but we think nothing of doing it to non-human animals. So how do we let ourselves do that? Contemporary Australian philosopher Peter Singer uses the word speciesism to describe giving preference to our own species over another in the absence of morally relevant differences. Singer reminds us that there was a time when most Americans thought it was totally normal and right for members of one group to literally own members of another group based on a morally irrelevant difference, skin color. And today, the members of the oppressing group look back on the reasoning of their ancestors with horror and shame. Well, Singer predicts that there will be a time when our descendants look back on us and our treatment of non-human animals with the same reaction. In a nutshell, Singer says, If it's not okay to do it to a human, it's not okay to do it to an animal either. Now you might think you agree with him, because who doesn't love bunnies and kittens? But do you really agree with him? If you agree that we should treat like cases alike, and that a difference in treatment requires a morally relevant difference, then you have to identify the differences that justify treating non-human animals